Welcome to Dead by Daylight, a game you might have seen before on the Steam store. This game is a game I'm very fond of, however, it boasts many problems, not only with its community, but in general, the game as well. I have a lot of information compiled here today for you, and please join me on this journey to examining all the issues I've found so far in my 6,000 plus hours of playing Dead by Daylight. For the average Dead by Daylight player, the worst thing about Dead by Daylight tends to be women. Now, I don't quite agree with this, but there are other people who feel that King behavior's worst enemy, and there are people like this that, you get the point. As an avid Dead by Daylight player, I have to say the most annoying thing is going into a match having your teammates either DC or be racist. In this clip, you can see Spook and Jukes showing off the latter, and it's just kind of a problem we have in the community where we don't really, handle ourselves appropriately as humans because I guess for whatever reason we weren't raised right, and the result is flexing your tier 10 racism in a video game that is openly supportive of many communities that would go against their policies. To continue off that point, a lot of people seem to feel as though Dead by Daylight is their safe haven to be an absolute piece of shit. There are many streamers that I will not fully name the name, but there is a bald one that a lot of people know, and a couple other that are just perfect examples of, behavior not really doing their management like they should. There's a reason why people like Spook and Jukes have a career, blasting these awful faces in the community and kind of just showing off how amazing we are as a collective, that we let the worst people have the best podiums. This game is also heavily polluted by bugs, and when I say heavily, I mean heavily. On stream, I have caught one bug where I had the zombies from Nemesis jump up and hit me and my friend. Clip here.
What the fuck?
And I've also had another situation where I ran into a vault, attempted to vault, and was promptly blocked off. Which I'll insert that clip right here.
What?
Both of these are examples of Dead by Daylight not really being optimized. Behavior when it comes to optimizing their game doesn't really seem to care really about the finished product, and usually every update with their spaghetti like code breaks another, I guess, permanent feature of the game. And at this point we have so many bugs that they've just become called features by the community, which will be my next talking point because I have strong opinions on whether or not these bugs should be features and intended and, be labeled as tech rather than exploit. I will bring up two of those examples momentarily, but like I was saying before, every time Dead by Daylight releases a new update, whether that be a survivor, killer, or even a bug fix, they tend to create more problems than they fix. Whether that is turmoil within the community in the form of a perk that no one likes, or whether that is just genuinely introducing some abhorrent tech like the aforementioned things I was talking about. You usually can see that, they need to start doing better or they're gonna lose a lot of players. This brings us to the point I briefly just mentioned about the two examples I'm gonna bring up, one of them being the Kaneki hug tech, or I guess I don't know, whatever you want to call it, the trap, the weird one where you get survivors to stand still, and the Wesker hug tech, which is, both of them arguably are exploits of the powers. You can see in the clips I'm about to show you how how unfair they are, and I personally feel they are exploits, definitely not intended by the developers. If you try to refute that, go ahead in the comments. I'd love to hear your opinions. However, I strongly believe that degenerates that use these quote-unquote techs should probably, you know, at the very least, see some sort of punishment, whether that's seeing their tech removed from the game or anything else. It's definitely not an intended feature. So let me show you the first clip. The first clip is of a Kaneki player. He seems to think that this is a completely fair and balanced tech, as you can see in this video. And then the next thing I'll be showing you is the Wesker hug tech, which you can even hear in the video. He tells you you have to click it at the moment that your bound disappears, which implies that you're not supposed to be bounding, and yet he still does it anyway. Despite this is not the worst example of players in this game. Most of those, you know, the awards go to the racist, the sexist, yada yada yada, but also to the cheaters. Now in this next clip I'm going to show you, it's just a brief showing of some of the cheaters we have in Dead by Daylight. Most of them go unpunished, and the ones that do get punished simply, you know, get another account because behavior seems to be very incompetent with banning, you know, actual cheaters, and instead some of their creators definitely get the heavier punishments. Like, for example, I think there is a user who got punished, despite your thoughts on cheating and Legacy, that behavior removed from, like, these people's accounts. Despite your opinion, someone got banned for 3 years for doing it. They got reinstated, but that just goes to show that behavior punishes more legit players, even though, like I said, your opinions might differ on that. But anyway, let's get into the clip. Now in this clip you can quite clearly see the nature of cheating in Dead by Daylight. Some people don't even have to be at their computers to do it, and that's just a shame really. You're getting killed by someone who's not even there. You can see that this nurse is quite clearly a robot tasked with the sole purpose of exterminating all humans. Now, if it wasn't for the fact that this robot was clearly coded by a loser beta cup virgin who, you know, wants nothing more than to see everyone else suffer at the expense of no time, you know, then I'm sure we can all agree, I mean, although it's not a person behind the screen, you know, actually cheating, and it's a robot they set up, I think we can all agree that, you know, cheaters like this deserve to be punished. Surprisingly, if you go on Twitch, some of these, you know, cheaters are streaming their gameplay and able to thrive on a platform that's supposed to be built on community and positivity and really just fairness. Twitch is usually pretty good about banning cheaters, but the game is the one that needs to step up, not the platform you're seeing people stream on. It's not like they monetize it, because they legally can't monetize cheating through Twitch's terms of service, but through Dead by Daylight we gotta see a better change, because it's sad to see that our major streamers like Spook and Jukes or Otstarva are being targeted by bots and, you know, cheaters, because who likes cheaters? No one likes cheaters. If you like cheaters, you are probably A, stupid, or B, a cheater yourself, in which case you're also stupid. I mean, there is no way to be a cheater and also be smart, and I feel like the core problem with Dead by Daylight right now is the amount of cheaters that have literally overtaken games. I've caught many in the past week, and usually, you know, the awful ping latency between killer and survivor, which I'll talk about in a second, but it's sad to see such a good premise be ruined by incompetent devs and a shitty community. I think if you are in a McDonald's ball pit like little Timmy here, you should not be able to queue up for a game. Dead by Daylight has a lot of problems with latency and the differentiation between someone on the east coast of America, North America, like me for example, and putting me against people who live in Brazil, who have 128 ping, and cannot physically, you know, I guess, like, I cannot react physically to their movements when they're teleporting all over the place. I think that is also something they need to kind of address with the servers and how they match people up, because typically I ping around 40 ms, and, you know, it kind of ruins the flow of gameplay. Now overall, whether you are a core tracker player who hasn't seen an update in decades, or a top tier Giga Chad Kaneki who likes to abuse hitboxes, Dead by Daylight is a very problematic game. I mean, albeit a fun game when you're with friends, terrible when you're alone, and overall needs fixing. And if they don't, I pray to them and their money hungry selves that they see some sort of retribution for what they have done. No hex intended. Goodbye, and I will see you on the next video whenever I decide to upload.